Hey everyone, my name is Ginny, and today I'm going to talk about my history with art and how I got to where I am as an artist today. Like everyone who's ever been passionate about art, there's been lots of ups and downs for me, lots of art blocks and art flows, and lots of influences and inspirations that led me to where I sit with art currently. So grab a cup of coffee, we're going to do a little speed paint, and I'm going to talk about some of my early inspiration and some of my favorite influences. So the spark for me happened pretty early on. I remember my parents, mostly my mother, my mom was also an artist. She really encouraged me to draw. She always had like those big plastic easels and paints and crayons and coloring books. I did a lot of art stuff as a young child. I feel like I was being pushed in that direction almost. So that was my, those are my early influences. Like the very, very early. I'm talking like single digits in my life. I didn't really get into drawing in earnest until I was in middle school, I think. I was about 10, and this little franchise, I think you might know, Pokemon. Pokemon became very popular in the summer of 1998. I had a bunch of Pokemon cards. I think the Jungle set had just come out, and I was at summer camp, and I had a bunch of friends who were also into Pokemon. We were hanging out playing candlepin bowling, and I remember sitting there kind of bored. Bowling isn't super fun, and I drew my very first Pokemon, and I'll put it up on the screen right here, but I was so proud of this Vaporeon. I drew it on the back. Like, the candlepin bowling, it was like you had to sit there and write out your score. Like, we were all that into it. We were mostly like trading around our Pokemon cards. But yeah, I drew this Vaporeon and I was so proud, and I started drawing Pokemon. And I wish I had more of my early art, but I didn't really have access to like archiving my art like we do now. It was 1998. There wasn't really like DeviantArt, there wasn't like Photo Bucket yet. And I was young. I was 10, so I wasn't really focused on that. I was just focused on making the art. It wasn't really until I hit high school when I started getting really into anime, and the internet was way more prolific, early 2000s. And I started drawing. I was drawing all the time. I was so into art in high school. I'll put some more of my artwork up on the screen from that time because it's really well documented, the DeviantArt days. But I drew OCs, I drew fan art, I drew, stuff influenced from my day-to-day life. It was a lot. I drew a lot of art here, and I was very supported by my art teachers in this endeavor. Well, most of them. A lot of them weren't into anime, which I feel like that's a gripe a lot of young artists had, like in the early 2000s. It was still pretty new. Like, it was not nearly as saturated in the market. God, don't say saturated in the market. Ugh, boo. There wasn't as much anime in the US at the time. It was very rare to find and very niche, just like super niche. If you liked anime outside of Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, you were in a very small minority, it felt like. And I just wanted to draw anime, and I did not want to learn the basics like my art teachers were trying to teach me. But right out of high school, I got really into Star Wars. All of my art just turned into a Star Wars OC and ship stuff. I was RPing in a community. Geez, I don't even know how to explain it, but I was playing on a Star Wars MUD called Legends of the Jedi, and I had a lot of different characters, but I also, I was very into drawing my OCs then. Again, very heavily documented on DeviantArt. So that was like my early 20s. And I had a period of my life where I didn't draw at all in my late 20s. I mean, I drew a little bit. Like, I drew some Splatoon stuff and a few, a few things here and there while I was taking care of my mother. I I got pancreatitis so bad that my pancreas ate itself and I almost died. Something about near-death experiences really kicks you into gear. Life-wise, I wasn't doing anything with my life. I dropped out of college because, as I said, I was taking care of my mom after she had a stroke, and I was living at home, and it was a full-time job. Like, she needed a lot of care. I didn't do much outside of that. I was pretty much just playing video games and hanging out with friends when I was able to. And just, that's all the energy I had. And yeah, then the pancreas thing happened. My pancreas ate itself, mostly. I only have a little bit of it left. It's a problem, but we're living through it. I almost died, and I decided, I think I need to go to college. I need to do something with my life, because if I had just died there, like, it's hard to explain. Like, a lot of people just disappear into obscurity, but I decided to go to school for graphic design. My sister and my brother stepped up to help take care of my mom, and I got to go to college for 5 years. I went to Platt College in San Diego. It's no longer there. It closed down a year after I graduated, of course. My time there really shaped how I make art now. I took their graphic design program for 2 years, and I learned a lot about color theory and the theories behind composing designs for commercial use, of course, but also it applies to art too. I learned new techniques, and I learned how to use Illustrator and InDesign and how to use text. You can kind of see the influences of my graphic design journey in a lot of what I do now. Especially I use it a lot with making my mixtape cassettes and the Game Boy Shaker cartridges and all the labels and stuff that I made. All that, very influenced by my graphic design journey in college. This is what I enjoy doing. I feel ready. Am I allowed to say ready? I feel ready to share my art with the world, finally. It's been 7 years since that near-death experience, and I'm finally okay, I'm ready to embrace my art more than I have. Again, out of college, I started a sticker shop. I started doing anime art conventions. I finally started putting my art out there, and it had such great response. People loved it, and people still love it. And I don't have a big following anywhere. I guess minus TikTok, but I feel like TikTok's really easy to get a big following on. RIP, hopefully not, fingers crossed. But yeah, people have responded really well to my art and my random ideas like mixtapes. Oh my gosh. I have to do a whole video about the mixtapes at some point. But this is just the introductory video, Okay, this is the part where I talk about some of my current influences besides college. Freaking Hatsune Miku. I didn't understand her, and then one day I did, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I've been slowly falling in love with the other Vocaloids too, and I love drawing them. I love drawing Hatsune Miku. Other influences. Anime. I love anime. I've loved anime since I was a child. I don't watch it a lot these days, but when I find one that I enjoy watching, the ones that I used to love watching, I watch the heck out of it. Dandadan was amazing. Other animes. I grew up watching Sailor Moon and Cowboy Bebop and Gundam Wing. Oh my gosh, obsessed with Gundam Wing. Lots of early 2000s and 90s animes, very heavily influenced by that stuff. Oh, I love retro tech. I mean, I talked about the mixtapes, but I make mixtapes, I buy tapes, I buy VHSs. I have a camcorder that uses VHS VHC tapes. I love like Tamagotchis and I have like in retro gaming. I mentioned Pokemon earlier. I have a Game Boy Color still that I play regularly, and like a DS and a 3DS, and oh, all sorts of fun things. I have all sorts of fun things, and I hope I get to introduce them all. Okay, I need to make an outro now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the art. If you did, please subscribe. I am so new. This is my first long form video. Please like and share. Is that a thing? Follow me on Blue Sky. That's just a suggestion. You don't have to, but that's where I post most. I also have a Tumblr where I post all my art. I will put all the links in the description, and maybe somewhere clickable on the screen. I don't know. How do you do YouTube? I hope I learn. I hope I learn, and I hope I enjoy making these videos. It's time to edit the video now. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Subscribe. Thank you. Bye. That should be plenty of yapping. That should be plenty of yapping. Cool. All right.